Come with me as we play top tier branded with the new alt art cards. We have Cartesia, Fallen of Albaz, and Alubur. Here's the deck list I'm playing today, and yes, it is 40 cards, which I am not telling you to play. I am instead encouraging you to play on macedometa.com the average deck type breakdown or a tournament top and deck list. Very quickly, from macedometa.com, we can go onto the tier list top decks page or click on the search bar up here, click deck types, you could type in branded, and that's gonna get us to the deck type breakdown. You can also go onto the tier list, see branded, click on that, also deck type breakdown. On the top decks page, we could just check out the branded deck list itself. Just click on any of the deck lists and see what's going on. Also click on the deck type breakdown from there. If your deck list at all looks similar to this that you see on the screen, then you are on the right track for building your branded deck. You could also scroll on down and see some tournament top and deck lists, a recent first place, and also a top 8 deck list. I would greatly recommend for you to be building what Abomod is playing here. We can click on his profile, and I would actually want to possibly copy his first place deck list. As you can see here, this is the deck, and if you want, you could copy the deck in-game with just one button. From the in-game deck page, you can click on the plus button, you could see copy from link deck list. I have almost 400 deck lists. Let's back out here. Let's go onto the website. We're gonna click on share to master duel, and with just one button after you set it up, it'll tell you how to set up if it's your first time clicking the button, and then you're gonna see in-game after it's done, click on copy from link deck list, and your deck list is now ready to be copied in-game legally, no third-party programs, none of that nonsense, copy, and just like that, you have your deck list, and this is an example of a deck list that I would recommend you building towards. As for a guide on how to play the deck, if there's enough demand and this video does well, I'd love to record more branded videos, including a quick start guide that includes tips, tricks, and priority thinking, in addition to common combos. Now, onto the duels. Deployment, Albaz play. So we do not have access to a branded fusion through this, but it is still a Cartesia. And with Cartesia Albaz, this goes through, of course. They're going to be holding their Ash for a card I don't even have access to, nor will have access to. Let's Cartesia fuse up into an Albion. This is going to be Imperm check, boy, big time. If he didn't want to Imperm or Valor on the Cartesia, which he did not, perfect. I'm gonna go for the Grangranol. Be banishing the Cartesia and Albaz into the Grang. With the Grang, I'm gonna send from the deck our Lubellion. All right, now let's Lubellion set up, and then we're gonna set Super Poly, and we're gonna be backed up by some, it's a small play, but it's a good one. Let's talk about our disruptions after we set this. And let's trigger the Albion. So this is deceptively a bad field. It's actually a great one. This, the banishment could fuse their fields into a form of disruption, so that's double disruption. The Branded Lost can also search for a Mercurier that we could use if the Grangranol triggers off a monster summoning off of a monster, and then we summon a Quem, which sends an Albaz, which we then reborn, we then discard, we then fuse with their field, which that's a disruption itself. And then we'd make the Mercurier live off the Lost potentially. And then we also have Super Poly, you also have Ash. There's a lot of juice to this. A lot of it is super conditional though. I believe branded opening. Okay, well, we have banishment to reborn Albion. If he gets Albaz on the field, we're going to turn into our own Mirror Jade. That's going to be the plan. Alubur, Super Poly in this matchup is going to be quite interesting. Tragedy searching for a normal summon. That'll be a Quem. What do we want to do with Quem? Quem on summon, send Albaz. And then if he reborns Albaz, discards for Albaz, that is when we're going to banishment fuse or Super Poly. And it's almost a sigh of relief when they use a branded fusion if it weren't for the opening already locking them into fusion monsters. So you know that they can't just follow up with an Anaconda. But just to be clear, they cannot Anaconda right now. Okay. Could chain High Spirits, possibly, to get the Albion in graveyard, search the deck. Sure. And this will likely be a Cartesia search. Cartesia could get Serenir in the graveyard, which would then be access to branded fusion, or the Quem can send the branded fusion. He's got 2 accesses to the branded fusion for that retribution to add it back. Titanclad is an end phase Albaz. He already has the Quem in hand. Unless he doesn't end with Quem, he'll then likely summon a Quem. If not, then get ready for an Albaz fusion in the end phase. Against any matchup, when you have Branded Lost, think about activating your fusion effect on Chainlink 1 when you know they have a quick effect that leads into a trigger, because then you're essentially tricking them into whatever if they chain to your fusion play, their resolution will result in no trigger effect because they can't respond to your fusion summon. Hit, Grand Granule, send. I think this is it. Grand Granule, send the Quem. He can go to battle phase, but who cares? Quem get the Albaz Engrave. With Albaz Engrave, if I can make a Mirror Jade, even off of their own play, what's going to happen is I could send Rinbrum to reborn the Albaz and then fuse with their fields. So this works out. Get Albaz Engrave. I could also trigger the Quem with my own Banishment or Super Poly. Turn back. Let's Quem. So if needed, we could force our Albaz reborn. Let's get the Albaz in there. Very important to have Albaz Engrave for Rinbrum plays or Quem. Ash Blossom for his branded fusion. Sure, sure. Easy. Negate. All right. Gotta think about it. If you're not playing Ash in your deck and everyone's playing branded because of the new cards, what are you doing? You gotta be negating the branded fusion. Are you fingering my Ash? No, you're not. You're thinking about chaining a branded in red. The Fallen Albaz Engrave is not a Fallen Albaz when you add it to the hand. You did all this just to scoop to an Ash? Come on. Really? Okay, there we go. Perfect. All right, Wem, send from the deck is fine. So if I want to right now, I could Banishment, Reborn, fuse with his Quem, trigger my Quem, Reborn Albaz, fuse into a Mirror Jade. That would knock off 2 of his bodies, and then I could sit there with the Mirror Jade plus a Mercourier, which seems pretty good. Non-target monster banish plus monster negate and super poly mate. Branded in white. He does have the Albion pretending to be an Albaz Engrave. What now? Branded in white is the way. When he fusion summons, it'll be chain 1. We could be the higher chain, summon Albaz. On resolution, he will have potentially go straight into a Mirror Jade. And then if we discard with Albaz, he'll then non-target monster banish our Albaz. And then I guess we would potentially want to chain Super Poly to that play. And off of the Super Poly, we would then get a Mercourier search. Now our Lost is going to only be good for searching if we don't use our fusions on chain link 1. Otherwise, it does not give that blanket protection of them not being able to respond. Wem is gone, and you're going for an Albion fusion. Sanctifier can't be used as fusion. Okay, that is interesting. Trigger the Quem. Let's see if he's got some other form of disruption here. It's Albaz, sure, come forth. Fuse away with the kit. Fortunately, we'll have a card to discard for Lubellion. Okay. Sanctifier is actually a really good idea here. Actually, great. Now, the Rinbrum can non-target spin the Sanctifier back if we activate any extra deck monster effect whatsoever, which would be the Quiritis. So we could just negate our own Quiritis. So I'll grab Mercourier for either a monster negate or discard with the Super Poly mate. And Quiritis can only be activated in the main phase. So we gotta be careful about that. Main phase negates Reborn, Albion, attempting to end the main phase. So what other effect can we activate in the battle phase? If we make them lose the battle phase, we can activate to only target our opponent's cards, right? Target cards the opponent controls. I would have to leave up the Alubur, which we're obviously doing if we go into the Star Source. So if he Star Source activates, and if he doesn't chain link block the Star Source, then we're gonna be able to negate Star Source with Rinbrum and spin back the Sanctifier and still have the backup Super Poly and Mercourier, which we can't use both, of course. So let's do the battle phase. Make him lose the battle phase. Rinbrum will be the way. All right, battle step, banishment, go Albion. You actually have a chain link block. It's for the Star Source potentially. Okay, all right, well, let's special summon. Dragostapelia. It's probably better than Star Source. We can only target a face of monster the opponent controls, which is untargetable, and I have to use his Alubur to even make this. Quiritis can't be activated. I gotta go for Star Source into a negate. He actually can't chain link block it. He can't respond because of Branded Lost. So this is safe, actually. There's nothing he could do to stop this. Perfect. Can't even chain to this. Can't even chain. Wow, Branded Lost OP. Let's return you back. Get the hell out of here. Come on, man. We got Mercourier, Super Poly. Can't use both. Holy Super Poly. Okay, calm, calm. We have our counter Super Poly for this instance, for this play. We could Rinbrum, reborn itself back in the field if we want to. Oh my Jesus. Dragostapelia. in the battle phase. Okay, sure. And I could super poly into a Mirror Jade. That feels so dirty, though. Should I actually do that? Rimbrum, Reborn, Albaz, then discard or summon Rinbrum. I could fuse their field and have Rinbrum, or I should just have a Mirror Jade. That's probably better. I'm gonna go for the Mirror Jade play. Summon the Albaz, and then let's super poly it up. Rip Rinbrum, rip, and let's fuse it up. So thank you for this duel, my friend, but this is the end. Let's discard, fuse it up, and then end phase, we're gonna banish the Mirror Jade. Fun duel. That was great. Yup, okay, well done. Tragedy activated. He's got end phase, summon Albaz, which is going to do nothing because he has nothing to discard. If it could do something, I would just banish it on its activation. Sure, didn't pass priority to me. Come forth. I didn't even Brain Fusion this game. The heck did I do? Albaz to the hand. Okay, let's search our Brain Fusion. Don't mind if I do. Manish, you. Thank you very much. Honorable duel. I enjoyed that. We had both our fields together, conjoined. Love it. Let's go. Going second, but we have our Super Poly Bestial play. Bestial against Blue Eyes is going to be the way. We also have Branded Fusion plus stopping an Ash Blossom here. That is definitely going to be the way. So since we have a Dark Monster, we can, with the Branded Fusion, go into the Albion, send from the deck, keep Albion on the field, tribute off for Lubellion, set up a Branded Lost, and then maybe with the Branded Lost, we then want a Super Poly. We're definitely going to be waiting for the Maiden trigger here. There's an option where you could, off of the Spirit Link before it activates, banish a Blue Eyes from their graveyard if you feel they don't have another way to get to the Blue Eyes. So I'm going to toggle off to not reveal any additional information here. Let me toggle it off there as the Sage is resolving. I don't want to give any additional info on if the field were to light up here for them, it would tell them that we have an Imperm, a Veiler, or a Bestial. Spirits with blue. We already know that they have a Roar of the blue in the hand. So banishing the Blue Eyes that they're going to inevitably send from the deck to the graveyard off of the Mausoleum is not an ideal play. Going for the Maiden is the way. And you could consider with the Mausoleum, if it's targeting a Maiden, if you want to chain link block it with the Serenir, just so it doesn't get the additional effect of summoning another body. And then you could also just be banishing possibly a Blue Eyes White Dragon from the graveyard while chain link blocking their +1 body play. This is where the Maiden activates. They got a body on field. Perfect. Manish. Deny them a body on the field. Now they do get the additional summon with the Mausoleum. That is expected. Possibly. There it is. An extra Maiden. Good thing it was not a Sage though. Did the Sage search Maiden or Veiler? He does have a Veiler, so we want to be strongly considering our plays around Veiler. We got to remember that. Oh, is this Crimson Dragon nonsense? Synchro Rumble reborn from the graveyard? Come on. Yep, trash. So why do I call this trash? It's adding bricks to your deck to just make your already turn 1 even better than it is. But you know, there are still a lot of tournament topping decks that use it, so it's not absolute trash. I'm just a bit salty calling it trash. Sure. Blue Eyes, and then reborn your tuner, even though we made the amazing play of Bestial banishing your Maiden. Fine. And this is before the ban list, by the way. They got their triple max Maiden. All right, what are we dealing with here? We can immediately super poly away their entire field of Ultimate Spirit Dragon and the Stardust Cipher. This is a monster negate plus negate anything except my super polymerization mates. And let's do exactly that. Yes, we can try to fire. If I activate the Albion, he tries to negate. That would not be good. I think it'll be ideal to just super poly right now. We'll discard the Retribution, which could grab back any card with the Albion. We're going to, do we Garura instead? Yes, we Garura's the way. This is the play. Come to me. So we have 3,000 damage on Garura. He does have the True Light to Reborn. Because he had the other copy of Maiden, unfortunately, he does get that trigger effect. I could Albion, go for a draw here. You could draw into something, maybe Branded Opening anything with the cross-out designator, we could discard that. We're going to discard the newly drawn card that is. That'd be better. I think so. So let's do for that. Let's go for some crazy shenanigans before committing to the branded fusion. Retribution, add it back. Let's draw a card first. Aluber. We don't even need to do the branded opening now. I could Aluber into a branded lost play. Let's see if he tries to disrupt this in some way. Aluber, and off a branded lost into a branded fusion, I will probably want to be popping the True Light. I think that would be the way. We have protection from Ash with Crossout Designate. Otherwise, this is hard committing to an Ash Blossom blowing us out without the Crossout Designator, where we would possibly more ideally want a Plan B instead of going all in onto Plan A. Plan A it is. All right, you're in big trouble. Now, if he chain summons a Blue Eyes White Dragon, he's not going to be able to trigger Maiden. Ash, we got the Crossout Designate. Are you ready? He's gonna scoop? Probably. Negate. Fortunately, not called by the grave. We're gonna sword the Ash. Negate. And now we're gonna pop up the back row. That is gonna be the play. So we summon from the deck. Albion. We want to get a dragon in graveyard. Get these two. Dragon. And I think we're just going to not have to worry about a Bestial, right? I mean, that'd be cringe. Let's put this on Chainlink 1. Do not mess that up, because otherwise they'd be able to respond with the True Light, and they're not going to be able to in this instance. Branded Lost. Grab from the deck. What do we want to be grabbing? Do we want to... We'll just grab a Mercourier in case he does have a Bestial potentially. And then this is just a wham bam thank you ma'am. What can he do? It's just like a complete blowout. He can't respond to this summon. We could negate whatever is in his hand. Oh my Jesus. He can't chain that back row. He can't chain the True Light. Absolutely blown the F out. Couldn't even infinite impermanence. Nothing. And whatever that is, Mercourier negate. Damn. Complete blowout of Blue Eyes. Now, they have chosen to go second. That is a problem if we are playing against Tenpai. So let's first check for an Ash here, which they're obviously not going to Ash unless they think we're another deck. Nothing lighting up on their side of the field. Let's now fusion deploy. Deploy it up. Come forth. Cartesia. And with our Cartesia, we're going to fuse away with our Serenir. Use the Serenir. Oh, got something now. A Veiler. Okay. With that Veiler, let's think about what we are doing now. Now that our special summon effect was negated, we cannot go into an Anaconda. So if we Serenir, I think we will probably be setting up with a branded Lost, and we're going to fuse on their turn. So thank you for the light. And with the light banished, we are going to be Libellion. Set up the branded Lost. Then from there, we do intend to set the Retribution. We're going to use it as disruption. Now, with our Serenir, they probably will have a Raigeki, Dark Hole, Lightning Storm, some sort of madness if this is a turn 2 deck. So we got the anti-board break-in. Now set up our Lost, and our Retribution's likely to get blown away by a heavy storm. Okay, we're good, I think. Turn 2 deck, anything could happen. Okay, focus. We can only main phase Cartesia. We're gonna hold the max C. We're gonna wait. Let's see what's going on here. And there we go. That is the Tenpai. Now, I am going to... This is the first time we could actually activate the Cartesia. We could not use it at any other moment whatsoever. So I'm gonna take that player priority the first moment we can, and I'm going to be trying to fuse. So our fusion is on Chainlink 1, by the way. If he were to have chained his jump off the field to summon from the deck, his newly summoned monster would not even activate, and I guess he knows that. What the heck? All right, so he knows what he is doing. We're going to be going into... We could actually just Mirror Jade non-target banish right away. We'll do it right away. Get the Cartesia in graveyard, yes. And we're going to be searching for a Mercourier. So this is great. We have a lot of disruption. You want to make sure the fusion's on Chainlink 1. We're going to have Mercourier. We're going to have a Mirror Jade. I do not want to be discarding. So to avoid having to discard, we're going to skip out on the Libellion and go straight for the Mirror Jade. Very nice. I think I'll summon this in defense in case he has a Lightning Storm he may want to be using. If it's some kind of follow-up. I think he would have used it if he had it, though. And in response to our own fusion summon, we banish away the Genroku, and he cannot even chain summon from the deck. All right. And what do we want? What do we want? We have no Albaz access, unfortunately, so a Rinbrum reborning is not going to be good. So we should should instead be planning for the end phase. I'm thinking just the Albion's going to be the safest. If we Titan Cloud, we could summon a Clem from the deck during the end phase, or we could go into an Albaz to fuse with whatever field there is, if there even is an end phase. We're just going to go for the Albion. Say goodbye. Couldn't even chain. Okay, now we have the Mercourier. We're going to do a Kaiman. I guess we'll Retribution the Kaiman, right? But then we don't get to use the Mercourier. Let's get to it. Let's do it. Very nice.